Panera Bread built an empire of cafes, more than 2,000 across North America and over 3,700 around the world. For years, it sat comfortably in the dining scene, serving millions who believed they had found something better. The appeal was easy to see. Free Wi-Fi turned tables into offices. Salads, soups, and sandwiches gave the menu a healthier glow. Service was quick, the atmosphere felt relaxed, and Panera slipped into daily life as if it had always been there. But the climb to the top never lasts forever. Growth kept stretching the brand, and with every expansion, the pressure mounted, and slowly, the company started to lose its edge. And that's when the story takes a turn. How does a place so familiar to so many end up collapsing under its own weight? What really happened inside Panera Bread? This is where the story begins. Panera was once celebrated for fresh artisan bread, comforting soups, and crisp salads that felt a step above the rest. It built loyalty on the promise of clean ingredients and a clear, no-no list of additives that customers never had to worry about. But over the years, the shine began to fade. Kitchens that once baked and prepped with care shifted to reheating frozen soups, bagged vegetables, and even the mac and cheese that had become a fan favorite. What looked handcrafted on the menu often came from a package. The prices, though, only climbed higher. A chicken sandwich could cost $13, a bowl of mac and cheese close to $10, and a single cookie as much as $4. For many regulars, the experience started to feel less like a wholesome meal and more like an overpriced stopgap. That's when the comparisons started. Panera felt like a dressed-up Subway, similar sandwiches, salads, and soups, but at a premium that was hard to justify. Add in longer waits than typical fast food chains and food that wasn't much healthier than the competition, and customers began asking the same question you have on mind, that, what are they even paying for? To find the answer, we need to trace Panera's story all the way back. The chain officially took shape in 1997, when it expanded beyond its regional roots and began building a national presence. By the next year, Panera had locked in on its vision: freshly baked bread paired with a broader menu of soups, salads, pastries, and pastas. That focus paid off quickly. The early 2000s became Panera's golden age, a period when the brand's growth seemed unstoppable. Between 2001 and 2006 alone, more than 1,000 new locations opened their doors. The numbers tell the story of just how explosive that rise was. In 2000, Panera's revenue stood at $151 million. By 2009, it had soared to $1.4 billion. What fueled this climb was Panera's ability to position itself as something different: meats free of antibiotics, whole grain breads, and the kind of menu that appealed directly to the health-conscious crowd of the early 2000s. Another part of the draw was the culture Panera created inside its cafes. In 2004, it rolled out free Wi-Fi, becoming the largest provider of it in the United States. Almost overnight, Panera turned into a hub for students, professionals, and anyone with a laptop. The cliché of the writer camped out in a cafe for hours, more often than not, that was Panera. As Panera's influence spread, competitors rushed to follow the trail it had blazed. Sister stores like St. Louis Bread Company stayed true to their name, but elsewhere, bakery cafes began appearing in cities across the country, hoping to catch some of the momentum. Atlanta Bread Company was one of the first, but it wouldn't be the last. Not long after, McAllister's Deli rose up as another serious contender. Founded in 1989, the chain leaned on independent franchises to grow its reach. Today, it boasts more than 500 locations, a respectable number, but still a fraction of Panera's scale. Atlanta Bread was a promising player, but now hangs on with barely 10 stores. Neither could match the machine that Panera had built. That machine was fueled by the menu. From its beginnings as the St. Louis Bread Company to its rise as a household name, Panera relied on offerings people couldn't find elsewhere. Bread remained its heart, still tied to the original San Francisco sourdough starter that gave the company its character. To keep consistency across the map, dough was prepared in fresh dough facilities and delivered daily to every cafe, ensuring that morning bakes felt authentic no matter the location. Back in the 1990s, customers could sit down with a bagel for 45 cents, a warm bowl of soup for under $3, or a sandwich for $5 at most. Those prices feel almost unreal today. By 2025, a basic turkey sandwich costs around $10, while bread bowls have climbed as high as 80% from their original price. And then there's the toasted Italiano, $13 standard, $14 if you dare add extras. Rising prices didn't scare everyone off. In fact, Panera's reputation for clean eating kept pulling customers in. They were among the first to post calorie counts directly on their menus, forcing other chains to follow. Their so-called no-no list, a promise to cut artificial preservatives, flavors, sweeteners, and colors, became a badge of honor. For many health-conscious diners, the extra dollars seemed worth it. That philosophy carried into April 2024, when Panera unveiled its biggest menu update in company history. 20 new items appeared across soups, salads, sandwiches, and the ever-popular mac and cheese. But at the same time, some locations were forced to shrink their menus, cutting up to 50 items in an effort to simplify operations. Customers pushed back hard, especially over rumors that the iconic broccoli cheddar soup might vanish. Few things stir outrage like threatening a dish people grew up with. And yet, soup wasn't the biggest controversy to hit Panera in recent years. That title belongs to a drink that made headlines for all the wrong reasons. If you've heard anything about Panera lately, it's probably about their infamous charged lemonade, a neon-colored caffeine bomb with a reputation so dangerous it earned the nickname, the lemonade that kills you. The hype was endless, but in the wrong ways. Social media lit up with videos of customers daring each other to finish a cup, boasting about how wired they felt after drinking it. But the excitement took a tragic turn in 2022, when 21-year-old University of Pennsylvania student Sarah Katz ordered one at a Philadelphia Panera. Katz lived with a heart condition called long QT syndrome, which meant she avoided energy drinks. The problem was, the lemonade wasn't advertised like one. Labeled as plant-based and clean, the fine print downplayed what was really in the cup: 390 milligrams of caffeine in a large, plus guarana extract, and a wall of sugar. For perspective, that's more caffeine than a Red Bull and Monster combined. Hours after finishing her drink, Sarah went into cardiac arrest. Her death sparked a wrongful death lawsuit against the chain. The controversy deepened when another lawsuit followed, this time after 46-year-old Dennis Brown collapsed from cardiac arrest after consuming multiple refills of the same drink. Brown had a history of ADHD and high blood pressure, conditions that made the lemonade's cocktail of stimulants especially dangerous. These back-to-back tragedies forced Panera to quietly overhaul its beverage menu, swapping out hyper-caffeinated drinks for lower sugar, lower caffeine alternatives. But the backlash over lemonade wasn't the only stain on Panera's image. The company had already been dealing with growing criticism about quality and value. Customers who once swore by the chain's fresh-baked promise began to notice something different on their plates. Prices kept climbing, yet the food arriving at the table didn't always match the clean eating marketing. In 2019, independent lab tests revealed Panera's menu contained glyphosate, a widely used pesticide, at some of the highest levels among restaurant chains. Lawsuits later challenged the company's vaunted no-no list, pointing to preservatives like tocopherol and ascorbic acid still appearing in their meals. Even staples weren't safe from scrutiny. Bagel purists argued Panera's version was an insult, steamed instead of boiled, leaving them closer to dinner rolls with holes. Soups and mac and cheese, beloved as comfort food, were often shipped frozen in plastic bags, reheated on site rather than cooked fresh. Employees admitted bread wasn't always baked that morning. It often came from a central facility and finished in-store ovens hours later. The frustrations weren't just about food. In 2024, headlines flared when California Governor Gavin Newsom was accused of working with billionaire franchise owner Greg Flynn to carve Panera out of the state's $20 an hour fast food wage mandate. Since Panera dough is prepared in central kitchens and only baked in stores, Flynn argued his restaurants didn't fit the fast food model. The alleged exemption sparked outrage, painting the chain as a company that preaches wholesome values while cutting corners behind the scenes. Yet, despite the backlash, Panera continues to lean into its identity as a premium fast casual brand. Operating costs are steep, hiring trained bakers, sourcing specialty ingredients, and turning out seasonal items like autumn squash soup or lobster rolls adds to overhead. The brand banks on the idea that customers will pay more for that kind of variety, but the balance feels off for many diners. Reports of $16 soup and sandwich combos make people question whether the portions, quality, and convenience justify the bill. Over time, this tension has reshaped Panera's reputation. What started as an affordable, fresh bakery cafe has morphed into something critics see as overpriced and overextended. Fans may still swear by the broccoli cheddar soup, but others see the brand as a shadow of its former self. And maybe that's why Panera is trying to win back some goodwill the old-fashioned way, by bringing back something people have been begging for. After a 7-year absence, their black bean soup has returned to the menu just in time for fall as of September 2025. Long hailed by loyal customers as one of Panera's best offerings, its disappearance never made much sense. Now that it's back, the real question is, will it be enough to restore the trust and comfort people once felt with the brand? Or has that warmth faded for good?